Hello, this is Dave Ramsey, and I'm here talking about week six. Time is flying by like crazy. Week six, though, we're talking about the two articles that we read. Both of them were from a different perspective. One was from the perspective of an actor that was actually going and trying to develop themselves, and the other one was more of a clinical view of the method. So I want to talk a little bit about those two articles. Might make mention of there's a couple of things we saw in the video as well, but mostly I want to focus on the articles today. The first article talked about that woman that was part of that group that was trying to fill in the vacancies between the art and what happened on stage. Which I liked what they talked about in that article, where they talked about how the author put something out, and then you know what information the author has about the character. And then once you are looking at the character and you see the finished product, your job as the actor is to fill in all those other voids by whatever method necessary, by whatever means necessary. And I kind of get this really, I mean, I may have mentioned it in my article also. I think I did, my response, where it feels to me like the writer takes takes the role of prophet. This is what I want you to know. This is what I want you to learn from the play. And then the actor takes on the role of missionary, and finds ways to bring real life to the audience or the congregation, to help them understand what it is that the author was trying to come about and trying to show them. I honestly thought that was pretty good, talking about trying to fill in those voids and develop those characters that way by using your imagination. I thought that was good. But also, the article talked about developing and putting energy on the stage. That the energy of the actor energizes the character and makes them believable and gives them a strength. I really liked. I really liked the talk about the vacuum cleaner monologue at the end. I thought that was pretty fantastic. I liked how this actress found ways to energize her character that were completely unrelated to what she was doing on stage, but it created something new and fresh and interesting. And when it added passion to that character who was selling the vacuum cleaner, and instead she chose to sell herself. I would have loved to have seen that, because to me it would have been, this person's really passionate about this vacuum cleaner. But it adds new layers and makes it more interesting and a better development of the character. And plus it makes it so that the audience is engaged, because the character is not just this flat form, this one-dimensional, two-dimensional shape on stage. The character becomes three-dimensional and full of life. And I think that contributes to helping us as actors portray what the director was trying to produce. So I thought that article was pretty good. The second article seemed a little bit more clinical, and it talked about those two forms. It talked about the method, and about the two main points were how to dwell in the paradox, and how to is for the actor to develop an imaginary world that they dwelled in, so that they could draw energy from that imaginary world. I thought it was a pretty good article, but it did talk about some things that actors would have to do. The first, that they would in creating their imaginary world, they'd have to practice. They'd have to develop the skill of concentration, so that they could see what was happening on stage, interact with what was happening on stage, but yet still be able to draw energy from that other world and to fill in the voids of their characters. But also it talked about how the actor needs to exists between the two, and exists between and develop and work in that paradox. I'm in this world, but yet I'm still on stage and I'm performing for this. for this audience, and trying to make sure that they were actually engaged on stage and communicating, even though they were using this method. I think that this method has promise. I think it's difficult and it takes time to work through. I think it's important to develop it by putting in the time before someone actually decides that it's not going to work. But on the same note, I actually, I agree that it's something that we should teach the teenagers, but I don't necessarily believe that that should be our sole source of how we instruct teenagers on the stage. So I believe it can work, and I'm thinking I might try some of this work with my advanced group, but not my very beginners. Mainly, I want my very, very beginners to try to develop and build. So I kind of lean more towards Adler's method in that. So in regards to the video about the group theater, it just reinforced so many other things that we had learned from the group theater in the readings. I enjoyed the video, and I'm looking forward to finishing the paper. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now at the time. So, but anyway, those are my thoughts about today's readings. I will catch you guys on the flip side. See you next week. Bye.